Okay, so I want to talk about something that nobody really prepares you for. And I mean nobody. Not your doctor, not your family, not anybody. And it hit me so hard when I started looking into this because I kept thinking about my grandpa. And I kept thinking, why did no one ever tell him any of this? So here is the thing. The moment you cross 65, your body does not send you a letter. It does not schedule a meeting. It does not sit you down and go, hey, things are about to run a little differently around here, heads up. No, it just starts. Quietly, slowly, and if you do not know what you are looking at, you will spend years thinking something is seriously wrong with you. And that right there is one of the cruelest parts of getting older. The confusion, the self-blame, the I used to be fine, what happened to me? And here's what psychology calls that pattern. It is called self-attributional error. That's a fancy way of saying we blame ourselves for things that are completely outside of our control. And after 65, that kind of thinking doesn't just hurt your feelings. It actually delays you from getting real help. And delayed help, trust me, it costs people their independence. It costs people years. So I need you to hear what I'm about to say, and I need you to hear it for yourself or for someone you love, because what I'm about to walk you through, these are the changes that doctors and aging researchers have known about for a long time, but somehow nobody's sitting down with real people and actually explaining it in plain language. So that's what I'm doing today, and I promise you, by the time this is over, so much of what has been confusing and scary is going to start making sense. Let's start with something that almost everyone over 65 deals with, but almost no one talks about openly. Recovery. Not just from workouts, not just from a surgery. I mean recovery from everything. A bad night of sleep, a stressful day, a minor cold, even just overdoing it on a Saturday. After 65, your body takes longer to bounce back from all of it. And I don't mean a little longer, I mean noticeably, frustratingly longer. And a lot of people interpret that as weakness. They think, I'm getting soft, I'm falling apart, and they push themselves harder to compensate, which actually makes it worse. Here's what's actually happening. Your cells have repair mechanisms, right? Little internal systems that go in and fix damage, rebuild tissue, restore energy. And those systems slow down with age. Researchers have a term for it, reduced cellular regenerative capacity. It basically means the crew that does the cleanup takes longer to show up, and they work a little slower when they do. This is not failure. This is biology. And the fix is not to push through like you're 40. The fix is to give your body what it's asking for, which is more time and more gentleness. That's not giving up. That's being smart. Now, the next one. This one really gets people because it comes out of nowhere. Balance. And I know that sounds like such a small thing, but listen to me. One day you're fine, and the next day you're hesitating at the top of the stairs. You feel a little unsteady when you turn around too fast. You're more cautious walking on uneven ground than you used to be. And you think, okay, am I just tired? Is this something serious? What's going on? What's going on is actually a coordination issue, and balance is not one single system in your body. It's multiple systems all talking to each other at the same time. Your eyes, your inner ear, your nerves, your muscles, they all have to sync up perfectly for you to stand and walk and turn without thinking about it. After 65, that communication between systems becomes more sensitive. The signals take a tiny bit longer. The coordination gets a little more delicate. Researchers describe this as proprioceptive decline, which is basically your body's sense of where it is in space becoming less precise. And when those signals are even slightly off, that's when stumbles happen. That's when falls happen. And falls in older adults aren't just scary. They're one of the leading causes of serious injury and loss of independence. So this is not something to brush off. Balance deserves your attention before something goes wrong, not after. And now I want to talk about sleep, because I genuinely think this is one of the most misunderstood changes after 65. So many people, just accept that they sleep badly now. They wake up at 3 in the morning and can't get back to sleep. They feel like they barely got any deep rest. They wake up earlier than they want to, and the story they tell themselves is, I just need less sleep now. I'm old, this is normal. But that's not accurate. That's actually a really dangerous misconception. What changes after 65 is not how much sleep you need. It's the architecture of your sleep, what scientists call sleep staging shifts. In younger adults, you cycle through deeper stages of sleep more regularly, more reliably. After 65, the time you spend in deep restorative sleep decreases. You spend more time in lighter sleep stages. You're more easily woken up by noise, by temperature, by anything. Your circadian rhythm, which is basically your body's internal clock that tells you when to feel awake and when to feel tired, that shifts earlier. So you might feel sleepy at 7 p.m. and wide awake at 4 a.m. And that feels disorienting and frustrating. But here's what nobody tells you. Poor sleep after 65 doesn't just make you tired. It compounds. It builds. It starts affecting your memory, your mood, your immune system, your body's ability to manage inflammation. Researchers have found that consistently poor sleep in older adults is linked to faster cognitive decline. That means if you're brushing off bad sleep just part of aging, you may be accidentally making a lot of other things worse. Sleep still matters just as much as it ever did. It just requires more intentionality now. It requires protecting it, prioritizing it, and talking to a doctor if it's seriously off. Okay, and now, this next one, I want you to really pay attention, because this one quietly harms so many older adults, and it flies completely under the radar. Thirst, hunger, the signals your body sends you when it needs food and water. After 65, those signals weaken. I know that sounds strange. You would think your body would always know when it is thirsty, but the brain regions that process dehydration signals become less sensitive with age. So you can be genuinely dehydrated and feel completely fine. You do not feel thirsty, and so you just do not drink. And then later that day you wonder why you feel dizzy, or foggy, or exhausted, or your head hurts, and you never connect it to something as simple as water. The same thing happens with appetite. The gut hormones that signal fullness and hunger shift. Some people eat way less without even trying to, and without realizing their nutritional needs have not gone down at all. In fact, in some ways, they have gone up. Protein, certain vitamins, calcium, vitamin D. The need for these things does not decrease just because you are not as hungry. And when your body quietly runs low on what it needs, it starts affecting everything. Your energy, your mood, your strength, your immune response. Doctors call this chronic subclinical malnutrition in older adults, and it is far more common than most people realize. Eating and drinking after 65 cannot be on autopilot anymore. It has to be intentional. And I have to talk about stress, because this one changed the way I thought about everything. After 65, stress hits differently, and not just emotionally, I mean physically. The nervous system in older adults has what researchers describe as reduced stress buffering capacity, which in plain English means your body used to absorb stress more easily. It used to handle it, process it, move on. After 65, it cannot do that as efficiently. Even low-level ongoing stress, the kind that's not dramatic, just constant background noise, financial worries, loneliness, family tension, it starts to do measurable damage. It raises blood pressure, it disrupts sleep, it increases systemic inflammation. And inflammation, chronic inflammation, is connected to almost every major disease we worry about in aging. Heart disease, cognitive decline, joint deterioration, all of it. So calm is not a luxury after 65. It's medicine, genuinely. Protecting your nervous system from constant stress is one of the most physically protective things an older adult can do. And that might mean having boundaries. It might mean reducing obligations. It might mean asking for help. Whatever it looks like, calm is not weakness. It's one of the smartest health strategies available. Now here's the change that I think matters the most, and it's the one that gets people into the most trouble. After 65, the warning signals your body sends get quieter. And this is the one that kept me up at night thinking about people I love. When something is going wrong inside a younger body, it usually screams. Sharp pain, sudden fatigue, an obvious signal. But in an older body, those same problems often whisper. Serious cardiovascular issues can show up as just feeling a little more tired than usual. Early cognitive changes can look like being a little more forgetful. A developing infection can just feel like general unwellness. Nothing dramatic, nothing that feels like an emergency. So people wait. They tell themselves they are just tired. They don't want to make a fuss. They feel like they're being dramatic. They say things like, "I'm old, things hurt, this is just how it is now." And doctors, actual doctors, they describe this as one of the most dangerous patterns they see in older patients, the delay between noticing something and saying something. And that delay costs people. It costs them treatment windows. It costs them recovery. Sometimes it costs their lives. The fact that your body is sending quieter signals after 65 means you have to listen more carefully, not less. You have to take yourself seriously. You have to advocate for yourself even when the symptom feels small, because small is often what serious looks like after 65. And I want to say something directly to anyone watching this who has been going through changes and telling themselves it's nothing, or feeling embarrassed to bring it up, or not wanting to be a burden. What you're experiencing is not weakness. It's not you falling apart. It's your body operating on a different system than it used to. And the fact that you are noticing things, the fact that something feels off, that's not a problem. That's information. And information acted on early makes all the difference. The biggest mistake people make after 65 is not the aging itself. It's the silence. It's the "I don't want to complain," the "I'm probably just being dramatic," the "this is just what getting old feels like." Doctors say it over and over again. Silence delays help, and delayed help costs independence. Paying attention to your body after 65, speaking up about what you notice, following up when something feels off, that's not being difficult. That's being wise. Because here's the truth that I really want to leave you with. None of these changes have to mean decline. None of them are a death sentence. They're just a new instruction manual. When you understand what your body is doing and why, when you adjust your habits and your expectations to match this new version of how things work, something really interesting happens. Energy stabilizes, confidence comes back, risk goes down. People who understand these changes, who work with them instead of against them, they live longer. They stay independent longer. They feel better. Not because they found some secret, but because they stopped fighting their own biology and started listening to it. After 65, your body is not failing you. It's just communicating with you differently than it used to. It's more sensitive now. It gives feedback faster. It recovers more slowly. It asks for more gentleness, more attention, more respect. And the people who give it those things, who learn to read the new signals, who stop blaming themselves for normal changes, who speak up earlier and take themselves seriously, those are the people who age with their dignity fully intact. Those are the people who stay in control of their own lives for as long as possible. And that's everything. That's the whole thing nobody warned you about and nobody told you clearly. Now you know. And knowing this, truly knowing it, that changes things. Take care of yourself. Take care of the people you love. And please do not stay silent.